Hi, welcome to the Edgebuckle book review of 500 Essential Cult Books, The Ultimate Guide by Gene McKinnon and also Steve Holland. Now, this book came out in 2010 and contains 380 odd pages, all in colour, all the way through. And it's packed solid with some really great books. Most should be readily available. Some I was just going through various, obviously, websites looking for these books. Well, they're quite hard to get, but many certainly easily to pick up. But not all the covers, of course, are shown. I mean, 1984 has had thousands of different covers. So over the years, who decides which one is the classic cover for that? But here's the details of various things. You've got here Incredible Worlds, Cult Classics, Real Lives, Thrilling Tales, Young Cult, Rebellion, etc., etc. You can see a whole list of them. And you've got the introduction there, and of course, mentioned 1984, but also you've got Clockwork Orange. That's not the cover that I particularly remember. I love the Penguin one that I grew up with. That was just a classic cover. Maybe that's got it, but that's the cover it's showing there. So it's certainly more than 500 covers. So obviously got some details how to use the book, and then goes on to the chapters, cult classics. Now, of course, everyone will have different definitions of cult classic, which one's which. And you see here, some pages have got two covers, the American Psycho, of course, American Psycho there, Bret Easton Ellis. But of course, there it is. The one that I certainly know, the Clockwork Orange, brilliant. Also, it's got here the plot. Now it's very small, and you can see it's a fairly small book. You can see the size of the book. It's not huge, so you haven't got massive full-sized covers. But also you've got review as well, which is always quite nice. I think that follows through all the way through. And also you've got further reading. Now sometimes the further reading ones are a bit hard to find. Not always. This one of my favourites. I love that one. The Enderby Quartet. Brilliant read. And not all of them obviously connected with the author, because you've got here Fahrenheit 451 going off from there. But then you go on to some of the others, and of course they're all over the place. There's Italian ones, there's Chinese ones, there's whatever. Whole mix of different ones. You've got Barack Obama. He's in it. And Away Days. Some books I've never heard of. So it's really nice to sort of you think, oh, and of course some of the further reading ones, definitely I've never heard of. I think that sounds really great. Wonderland Avenue. No, I've never heard of that one. Basketball Diaries. There. And you've got also Been Down So Long It Looked, etc. That's quite an unusual cover. Now the covers are all over the place in terms of the years. You've got some old looking covers, and also of course you've got more up to date covers as well. You've got Fever Pitch there, Less Than Zero, of course another classic there. I love that book as well. That was a great read. The Alchemist, oh that's excellent. Nights at the Circus, that's in here as well. 1974, I'm not familiar with that one. 1974, yeah, that doesn't sound like anything like 1984. The Time Traveller's Wife, and so on. So you've got here The Incredible Worlds. Of course, you've got Northern Lights, Philip Pullman. Loved the TV series recently. Loved the book as well. Excellent. We, of course, classic. Slaughterhouse-Five. Frank Herbert's Dune. The Last Unicorn. I remember reading that years and years and years ago. Vintage Shelley. Frankenstein. So you've got lots of horror. Now you've got three covers there. Of course, none of the classic covers, but you've got lots of fairly new covers there. Oxford World Classic, and also you've got one here which I can't make out. That one is Interview with the Vampire, and so on. Brilliant. William Shatner, Star Trek Memories, absolutely brilliant. Love that. Zodiac, What Just Happened, The Unquiet Grave. Some of these I've never read. The Castle, it's probably a brilliant book. The Castle of Otranto. But this is a great inspiration. Just going through this, you think, wow, when you read some of these comments and you think, that's a book to read. Casino Royale, absolute classic, of course, Ian Fleming. And Night in the City. Now, that one is obviously an old one, a lovely Dell book there. And Dr. Spock's Baby in Childcare. Did have a copy of that years ago. I had that copy. Obviously, my parents had that copy. So that was definitely a long time. That was definitely one, obviously, in the 1960s, that one. Brief History of Time. And many Carl Sagan, of course, Candy, Confessions of an English Opium, and many more. 380 odd pages. This is just brilliant. Part of a series of other books. I don't think there was a vast number of them, but this one's very good as well. Remember, I think I got this out in the library. I'm quite certain I did. And I've got similar books, of course. 500 Essential Graphic Novels. And that's there's also cult movies one, obviously Clockwork Orange again, strange enough, and also anime movies. I have no idea which one that was from. Of course, people who are knowledgeable on anime movies will turn around instantaneously and tell me on that one. But it's also got references to the back, of course, and lots of other detail. Now, it doesn't actually have the artists, or obviously the people, the production that made the cover, and that would have been nice. But it's got index by author, index by title. You can see all the various titles there. You can see the sort of books that are included. A massive list of great titles there. So this book is just brilliant. I love these sort of books. Anyway, I've got quite a few cover books, and I must do a video on cover books I've got, so I will go through them. But this one is really, really nice. Bought it fairly cheaply, and I love it. Absolutely great. 500 Essential Cult Books, really worth checking out. The Ultimate Guide by Gina McKinnon and Steve Holland, who writes some brilliant reference books. I love his works.